Hey guys, it's Jennifer with Roots Redefined. Get your passport ready because today we are taking you through Mexico and Morocco at Disney's 2021 Flower and Garden Festival. So Mexico is interesting because you have a very arid and dry climate in the north, and as you work your way south, it becomes very tropical and wet. We are going to start this trip with the beautiful rainforests in South Mexico. Tropical rainforests are warm, wet regions around the equator where rainfall is measured in feet rather than inches, and temperatures are consistently hot throughout the year. Rainforests are invaluable. They are one of our most diverse ecosystems and are home for a staggering number of unique plants, animals, and microorganisms. They also clean, protect, and store vast amounts of water and produce oxygen for the world. Now, while walking along the semicircular path here, you will find orchids, bromeliads, prayer plants, anthuriums, tillandsias, tea plants, and palms. It's pretty incredible how beautiful and colorful everything is, considering many of these plants get very little light. Now, many food, fiber, oil, and medicine products originated in the rainforest as well, including bananas, chocolate, jute, coconut oil, and malaria treatments. Vanilla actually comes from a vanilla orchid that is native to Mexico. It grows high in rainforest tree branches where its showy flowers are pollinated by bees. Native tribes first harvested the fragrant vanilla pods and dried them in the sun. Today, vanilla is one of the world's favorite flavors. Epiphytes, or air plants, are really cool, unique plants that can grow without soil on top of other plants, typically trees, coexisting in the most harmonious, harmless way. Epiphytes include tillandsias, orchids, some ferns, and bromeliads. They derive their nutrients and other vitals from the air, water, dust, and debris around them. While air plants don't need soil, they sometimes grow in leaf debris or moss caught in between tree branches. Tillandsias get nutrients through dust and debris that get caught in their trichomes, which are their hairs. Others, like the bird's nest fern, cull nutrients from leached water. Debris, animal droppings, and even old leaves leach nutrients into water. It's sort of like steeping tea. This water drips down the tree during a rainstorm, and the roots of the fern absorb the nutrient tea as it runs over the roots. Now, another cool thing about the plants found here is a lot of them do really well indoors. Many largely foliage plants are accustomed to growing in low light conditions in the understory layer of the rainforest. Plants such as the prayer plant, anthurium, and bromeliad make fantastic additions to your indoor plant collection because they don't require loads of bright direct light. Now, keep in mind that because these plants are used to a humid environment, they might need to be put near a shower or sunroom. You could also try misting them or create a pebble tray for extra humidity. Bromeliads are excellent indoor plants. They have colorful, long-lasting inflorescence, and some have brilliantly colored foliage as well. Although many bromeliads are air plants, most can be grown in containers. The prayer plant is one of the most distinguishable tropicals thanks to its beautiful decorative leaves. The popular tricolor variety has deep green velvety leaves with yellow splotches down the midrib and arching red veins traveling to the leaf margins. A slow grower, the prayer plant can eventually reach up to a foot in height indoors. Now, if you're looking for something super easy, anthuriums are very low maintenance indoor foliage plants. I find that they aren't too finicky when it comes to the drier indoor air. And here's a little secret. The beautiful heart-shaped flowers that can be found in red, white, pink, and purple are not actually flowers. They are waxy leaves called spats that flare from the base of the fleshy spike where the actual tiny flowers grow. Now, if you happen to be low on space in your house, don't fret. You can still enjoy an indoor tropical oasis. Try hanging one of these guys in a macrame plant hanger or on a wall. There are loads of vertical planter options. Now, something that Disney doesn't mention in their Flower and Garden Festival passport is the really cool arid garden they created. Dry plateaus and rocky creek beds may be inhospitable to many forms of plant life, but not succulents and cacti. This area looks like something you might see in northern Mexico's desert region. So what's the difference between cacti and succulents? Cactus denotes a botanical family. Succulents are a broader group referring to a type of plant included in several botanical families. While all cacti are considered to be succulents, there are succulents that are not cacti. Cacti, the bigger ones at least, are well known even to those who have little interest in horticulture, likely in part because Hollywood westerns turned cacti into iconic figures. Succulents have also increased in popularity due to their low maintenance care, making them an ideal choice for first-time plant owners. Because succulents store water in their foliage and must be tough enough to survive challenging climates, most sport leaves, sometimes modified, that while firm to the touch, have a swollen, juicy look to them. Some of the succulents you'll find in this arid garden include the snake plant, agave, ripple jade, topsy-turvy echeveria, aloe, and fairy swashboard. Topsy-turvy echeveria is a popular succulent with thick, powdery blue-gray leaves. It grows in a rosette shape, meaning it has no stems. The fast-growing evergreen plant is easy to propagate and will produce offshoots, easily forming a dense carpet of rosettes in no time. Agave plants generally are succulents with large leaves that end in spiny tips and come in many different sizes. There are the large, stiff agaves that can grow to 10 feet or more in height and width, and there are the small, dish-sized agaves, as well as a few agave species with soft leaves and no spines. Agave foliage tends toward a blue-green and hardy varieties, and a gray-green in warm climate varieties. There are also some that are variegated with gold or white markings. When agave matures after several years, or even several decades sometimes, a tall flower stalk often grows out of the plant center. The flowers are bell-shaped and long-lasting in shades of white, yellow, and green. One of my absolute favorite succulents is called a lithup, or living stone. It isn't here in this arid garden, but I definitely think it's worth sharing. Living stones are native to southern Africa and look more like rocks than anything. Older lithups form clumps of colorful pebbles in their pot, which makes them ideal as an accent piece in your garden. As small and slow-growing plants, they are relatively easy to care for, especially once you get a hang of the routine. Succulents have so many uses back home, you guys. If you're tired of watering that lawn or maintaining your flower bed, try xeriscaping. Similar to what you see here, xeriscaping is just a type of landscape that uses plants with low water needs. It's a method becoming increasingly popular, especially in areas where water shortages are common. I think it's a stunning look and pretty much the easiest garden you could ever create. You can also use succulents as plants to grow in between garden stepping stones or subjects for a terrarium. Most succulents also make fantastic indoor plants because air inside is usually pretty dry, which is what these plants are accustomed to back home. Just put them by a sunny window and you'll be enjoying Mother Nature indoors with minimal effort. No sun? No problem. The snake plant is a popular succulent that thrives on neglect, doing well in low light conditions, making it perfect for those corners that don't get enough rays. Now another thing to note is most succulents can be propagated from cuttings. Just cut a piece off, stick it in a sandy medium, and watch it grow. And of course, it's not a fiesta without the Three Caballeros. Warm colors are used here, which is quite fitting given the climate in Mexico. Beautiful bright yellow, orange, and red daisies blanket the bed. Topiary gardening, the art of fashioning living plants into ornamental shapes, has been practiced for centuries. Found throughout the gardens of Disney are hundreds of topiary figures, ranging from traditional hedged and sheared trees to fanciful shapes and a plethora of the chlorophyll Disney characters. As opposed to shrubs and bushes carved into shapes, Disney character topiaries are made out of custom-made stainless steel frames built on site, sometimes costing as much as $100,000. The frames are then stuffed with sphagnum moss and planted with thumb-sized plant plugs. Now, because I'm Moroccan, I might be a little biased on this one, but a trip to this country is a magical experience in my opinion. Anyone who has visited the bustling, busy Medinas of Moroccan cities like Marrakesh knows that the courtyard garden, which is at the heart of every riad, is a place of calm, a serene and soothing retreat from the noise and activity outside. Gardens in Morocco include heat-loving plants that are drought-tolerant. Plants for these centralized gardens provide a lush tropical feel, even though they're friendly to the xeriscape location. Supersized palms, aspidistra, and bird of paradise fit the bill here, as do many colorful succulents. Towering banana plants contrast with richly painted walls and tile floors. These plants are typically placed in enormous terracotta pots for added impact. Colorful containers and other accents are also abound when creating a Moroccan garden. Cacti, agave, and aloes are included and are great choices for any water-wise planting area. The familiar geranium is used for flowering color in containers on the riad. Citrus trees, especially oranges, are also widely planted. Now, if you're attempting to replicate a similar garden in your landscape, orange trees, foliage plants, and terracotta pots are an integral part of the layout. If possible, choose a bright color for walls that promotes what you desire from your personal riad. So now let's discuss this really cute herb and spice garden. In many Eastern cultures, ancient spices were once considered more valuable than gold. Even today, many cultures are defined by their signature spices and herb blends, created from plant leaves, stems, roots, seeds, and flowers. So what's the difference between herbs and spices? In broad terms, both herbs and spices come from plants, but herbs are the fresh part of the plant, while spices are almost always the dried parts. Spices can come from the dried root, dried stalk, seed, or dried fruit of the plant. Some of the herbs potted here include fennel, ginger, bay laurel, pepper, chili, parsley, and spearmint. Morocco's food reflects the many blended cultures of this crossroads country. Combinations of spices from near and far add depth of flavor rather than spicy heat. Many signature spices such as saffron, mint, cumin, and cinnamon are grown in Morocco. Ras el Hanout is a commonly used mixture of spices that may contain over 20 custom blended ingredients. Now, a lot of people think that an herb garden can't be colorful, and that's just not the case. Many flowers, such as the marigolds and daisies planted here, do well when planted with herbs. This is called companion planting, and not only does it look visually appealing, but it can also help with pest control, pollination, and providing habitat for beneficial insects. Companion planting herbs and flowers creates a more beautiful and productive garden. Basil and marigolds, for example, are a natural insect-repelling pair, so plant them nearby one another to double up on a potent aromatic shield. Cinnamon helps with fungus that causes damping off disease, which attacks and kills young stems and roots. There are so many great reasons to start an herb garden, ranging from creating delicious dinners to brewing your own cups of tea. Plus, most herbs grow easily in a variety of conditions, making them ideal for new gardeners. Rosemary and parsley are a couple simple ones to get started with. Whether you live in a subdivision with a large backyard or an apartment with a balcony, herbs grow well just about anywhere that receives at least 6 hours of sunlight. And don't despair if the only spots you have to grow are a bit shady. Some herbs, such as cilantro and mint, do just fine with 3 or 4 hours of sunlight. Check the plant tag for light requirements or look it up online. Now, you want to try to place your herb garden where you'll see it. Not only will that inspire you to add interesting flavors to your meals, but you'll also be more likely to notice when your plants need watering or if pests invade. Herbs also respond well to harvesting and will actually grow thicker and bushier with frequent snipping. For best results, harvest in the morning using a pair of garden shears or kitchen scissors. Never remove more than 1/3 of the plant so that it can recuperate and continue growing throughout the season. Also know that herbs taste better before flowering. By pinching back basil as soon as you see blooms beginning to form, for instance, you'll extend the herb's harvest life. Now, if you enjoyed the tropical plants in Mexico, you might want to check out my video on Future World West, where we take a look at the bromeliads over at the Land Pavilion. So that's all we have for you today. Thanks so much for stopping by and watching. This is Jennifer with Roots Redefined. I'll see you again real soon.